Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's the day after the patch. We finally had the Demon Seed banned from Wild, as well as nerfed in Standard and all the other changes, the buffs and all that stuff going on, and I wanted to give a full-on day one review of everything. I've streamed for like 4 hours. I'm normally not streaming on Tuesdays and I'm feeling pretty run down, but I still managed to get Legend and Wild and played some Standard, played some Arena, talked to a lot of fellow players around, you know, higher ranks and my community and all that. Give my impressions on everything, including, you know, the updates to the game itself, and give you my full-on review. And by the way, this is day one, so if I'm, you know, saying something feels bad or etc., I'm not calling for nerfs right away. I'm not calling for changes right away, but I want to give my general impressions on how I feel about the game, where I feel things maybe being problematic or good. And we'll start off with the good news. We'll start out and then we'll end with kind of more of my negative takes on some of the stuff. So to start off, I just want to say that Wild felt like Wild. I played a lot of Wild today. I played Evenlock and some Mali Druid, like Alignment Mali Druid, and I had a lot of fun. There was a ton of different decks that I faced. I actually faced Zero Warlock, ironically. But yeah, I faced a lot of Pirate Warrior, obviously, with all the buffs. It's very popular, but tons of other stuff, whether it was like Reno Priest. I faced Aggro Shaman, Big Shaman. I felt Big Paladin. All sorts of stuff. I faced something from every class, basically something from every archetype in the game. Wild felt like Wild. It felt broken, as it always does, but it felt like Wild. It was a good time. So if you've been missing out on that Wild gameplay where you can't play your Reno decks, you can't play your other stuff, I think it's certainly playable right now. It's certainly playable. The Demon Seed is finally gone and is finally not holding everything back. So that felt really good. I had a lot of fun and I definitely recommend Wild. The game itself saw plenty of updates. There's a bunch of new bundles, and just to be clear, I did get them all because I'm a disgusting whale and I buy everything, but it also lets me cover it on the channel and, you know, business expense tax write-off. It certainly doesn't kill me to get all the stuff, and I'm going to do that, you know, to give you guys the best coverage I can. And yes, so we have the Shadowlands bundle added to the shop. It's like 25 USD or like 32.50 Canadian for 4 portraits, and you can see them here. They're really nice. They're nice. There's so many portraits in the game, though. It's really hard to like say like you got to go out and spend money on this. I wouldn't recommend ever spending that much money on portraits. Period. You don't get any packs. You don't get any cards. It's purely just, you know, cosmetic stuff. I like that kind of stuff. I got it. I think they're nice. They're great, but I wouldn't really recommend anyone buying it unless you just really want it. And you don't mind spending the money, giving Blizzard some support during their, you know, they need the funds for their lawyers these days. They're very busy. All right. So if you want to help their lawyer fees out, buy the bundle or whatever. But overall, I mean, they're nice, but again, it's not really worth your money. As well as they added a couple of golden bundles for Standard and Classic, which I got both. And yeah, I mean, it's golden cards. It's overpriced. It's not really a great way to fill your collection. It's purely for whales. And if that's not you, do not spend a dime on it. And even if you are a whale, you probably shouldn't. But again, here I am. I bought them and I got Golden Cho. I finally got the Golden Cho. So Wow Hobbs should be proud of me. And he even liked my tweet about it. So I think he's a little bit proud of the Golden Cho. So yeah, those were those things added to buy. And then the game itself, there were a couple of bug fixes. You don't get that message that pops up anymore that you need to like permit your own friends to message you. That was really annoying. That's gone. It's like automatically on. You can disable it or put it back on or whatever if you want, but regardless, that's fixed. But the reconnect bug is still there. The game is still crashing. I had to restart like 3 or 4 times in 4 hours. I had to restart because it kept crashing or being buggy or whatever. I watched Theo today on his stream. He literally lost 2 games because the game bugged out. He had to re-log twice to get back into the game. And by the time he got back, he had lost 2 games, which is always frustrating. As well as like the XP thing doesn't show up still at the end of a game. So the game's still not running very well. It's still buggy. It's still crashing. And that's very frustrating. I don't understand why we are still at this point. I really hope after Mercenaries launches and they apparently have time for this stuff, they really work on the client, because this is just something that really is unacceptable, and I'm not going to drop it, and I'm going to continue to bring it up because I do not think, for the amount of money that a lot of us spend on the game, that it should be this shoddy a client. Like, there's just no excuse for it. There is none. So yeah, that's the update side of things. Overall, just a bunch of stuff you don't want to buy, and the game's still not running great and a couple of bugs fixed. However, we're going to end off with Standard, because Standard is still pretty contentious. Standard is still not a lot of fun for a lot of people. I didn't play it a ton, I will admit. I only played a few games. I played a couple off stream after I ended my stream. It felt very similar to me. The Warlock basically is gone. It's just suicide to play that quest anymore. But now it's just Quest Mage. It's Quest Hunter. It's like, it's Quest Decks, Quest Demon Hunter. And then you have the aggro decks, and that's it. Like, it feels like the same thing. And Quest Mage just does exactly what Warlock did in destroy any slower deck with its infinite value, infinite damage, and you know, it's quite frustrating. And then the other side of it, well, I'm just gonna try and aggro it down. There's not really the board battles. The board battles aren't quite there, except for like the buffed warrior stuff. The pirates seem to be hanging in there, seem to be doing well. So that's cool. And again, this is just early impressions. The meta might change completely. A lot of people are just going to fall back on the same decks they're comfortable with. Like, they don't want to play the new Hero Power Mage because, well, I don't think it's probably that good. But, you know, it's just easier to play a Quest Mage where you know it's good. It can break, you know, punish people trying new stuff. So I'm not calling for nerfs right away, but I am concerned. I am concerned that Standard still just feels like it's Quest versus aggro, and it's just, you know, it's a standoff between those archetypes. I personally just don't enjoy the quest line styles that are good. The quests that are good, like Hunter, it just kills you in the face. It doesn't really interact with you. It's kind of frustrating. Mage, same thing. It just shoots you in the face. It doesn't really interact with you. It's really frustrating. Demon Hunter, similar story. Like, if the Rogue quest was really good and saw play, I would enjoy that. It's a board-based quest. If the Paladin quest was good, I think I would enjoy that a lot more. Like, they're much more reminiscent of like the Uldum quest, right? And we talked about that. The Uldum quests felt really fine. They were fun. They didn't really drive people up the wall, but a lot of these quests the only quests that seem to be good are the ones that are frustrating, that aren't fun to face, that are just very one-sided. And I think the Warrior quest isn't really that experience. I don't mind facing the Warrior quest, playing almost anything. Like, it's thematic, it's kind of cool, the pirates and all that. Like, and I'm hoping that these buffs are making it relevant. Sure has in Wild, by the way. By the way, if you want to farm Wild Pirate Warrior, just play Evenlock. Just destroy it. But regardless, I just feel like the standard metagame for me, the little I have played and the talks I've had with other people, is just not much fun if you're not into this whole, you know, hyper aggro or questline strategy of gameplay. And I hope that changes. I hope as things get more refined, that it becomes a lot more enjoyable to play Standard. But for me right now, I feel like I'm going to be an Arena or a Wild player. I just don't really enjoy the experience so far of Standard, of these questline strategies. I just wish the more interactive quests were better, and they just don't seem to be. And the Quest Mage in particular is just one of the most frustrating decks to face. And not only is it frustrating in terms of it burning you in the face, just the fact that it's literally like a quest deck for dummies. Like, oh, I play the fire spell, I play the frost spell, I play the arcane spell, I play the fire spell. Like, you just go in that order and then you kill your opponent. It's not like it's interesting. It's just like this super linear, repetitive, boring deck that just burns you in the face. So I can't even like have fun playing it to like counteract it by playing it myself. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but regardless, I want to hear your guys' take, how your first day impressions of Standard were, because that's just mine. If you're loving it, I would love to hear it. Maybe you're experiencing a whole different meta than me. And again, it's day one. Let's not like go crazy saying things are terrible and need to be switched. I'm just saying why it doesn't feel great for me, and I'm hoping things change, but I'm really still concerned about this whole quest versus aggro strategy. And I mean, we might just be going through that until the next expansion or mini set, who knows? But right now, that's the way it feels to me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.